What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode. Happy mother freaking Friday if you guys are listening to this on the day that it comes out. It's been a minute. Actually, it hasn't been a minute. Let me not say that. It hasn't been a minute, but we didn't have a Tuesday episode, our usual Tuesday solo episode, come out this week. So our solo episode is on a Friday, and usually Fridays is a day that we have our guest episodes. However, it's a solo day. What's up, y'all? I missed you this week, but your girl needed a little break. We just hit 50 episodes on the podcast. So amazing. Like, I'm just feeling like, first of all, how do we get to 50 so fast? Like, I literally started this podcast in August of last year. It is February, mid-Feb, about to be March pretty soon, and we just hit 50 episodes. So I want to first say thank you to everybody who's been rocking with the podcast, everybody who's been listening, tuning in, sharing, rating, reviewing, all of that good stuff, subscribing to the YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much, because obviously, like, there would be no podcast if people weren't listening. So thank you for tuning in. I hope that you guys had an amazing Valentine's Day, if that's something that you celebrate, Valentine's or Galentine's or whatever it is that you celebrate. Or if you don't celebrate and it was just a regular, normal Wednesday, that's cool too. Okay, that's cool. But in honor of February and the month of love and Valentine's Day, I wanted to dedicate this episode to the single girlies and the single guys. I know there's some guys who listen to the podcast, so I don't want to leave y'all out. I don't want to exclude y'all, but I want to give y'all some love because, you know, it could be a rough time for some people depending on how you look at February and how you look at Valentine's and all that. But aside from Valentine's Day, I think, like, I just know a lot of people who are in their single season right now, and either they're loving it or it's completely opposite, where they're like miserable and they're not loving their single season and they're like stressed out about when their partner is going to come in their life and how they're going to meet someone. So, we're going to talk about all that today, but the main topic of this conversation is embracing your single season, okay? Because your single season is not going to last forever. Like, I think that's what we tend to forget. Like, if you are someone who actually wants a relationship and you actually want to, get into a committed relationship, you want to get married, you want a partner, whatever it is that you want for yourself, that is obtainable. Like, it's going to happen for you. But know that your single season, it's called a season for a reason, right? Seasons don't last. Seasons are always changing. So we're going to talk about embracing our single season. So first of all, I just want to start by saying that, like, I am loving my single season. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of like history with me. Not really, because y'all know I don't be sharing like my real life dating life, and experiences on this podcast. I'm pretty private to an extent, okay? But I will say this is the first time in my life that I've been 100% absolutely, definitely not talking to nobody, not texting nobody, not dating nobody, single, okay? Like, single for real. And I've been single for years. Okay, I've been single for years. However, I've dated guys. The last guy that I was dating, like, we were actually dating for quite some time. And when I say quite some time, I mean like quite some years, okay? And it was a very casual relationship. It wasn't like we weren't calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend, even though it could have been that, right? Like, other people could have thought that, but it was a very casual relationship. I'm not going to say an open relationship. However, we just had different ideas of what I guess a relationship was or what we wanted. Like, I'm someone who's very transparent when I'm dating people. So it was very clear, to him that I want to get married at some point. Like, I want to long-term relationship. I have these certain expectations and I have standards that I have and that I want in a person. So if that's not going to be it, then eventually it's going to end, and that's okay. And I think we both kind of knew that, but we were chilling. We were riding the wave. We were having fun. And even to this day, like, we're still cool, we're still friends. However, I made the decision last year that I didn't want to date anymore. Like, I needed a break. I was focusing on my business. As you guys know, if you listen to the podcast, I went into business full time last summer. And I knew that the next chapter of my life was going to take a different type of focus, right? I knew that I really needed to buckle down and figure out, how am I going to tackle my business in a different way that I haven't tackled it before, right? Like, it's different when you're running something as a side hustle versus a full-time business where that's your bread and butter. Like, that is your income. That's your main source of income. Like, you're trying to grow something, you're trying to scale something. So I knew, not even just with business, but just personal development as well. If you guys have been following the podcast, you know that I've been on a spiritual journey. I've been learning so much more about myself. I've been dedicated to just personal growth and development over the past couple years, specifically the past 2 years, reading, journaling, also my journal. That was something that I wanted to put more time into. It took me about a year to create and finalize my journal. And yeah, like, honestly, it was time for a me season. So that's why I had decided, like, hey, I think I'm just gonna, just take some time for me. Like, this is something that I really need right now. And all throughout my 20s, like, I was always just dating someone, like, I would date someone for a couple months, we'd break up, I'd meet someone else, I'd date them, maybe take like a couple months to myself, and then meet someone and date someone again. So this is really the first time in my life, and especially being, in this new chapter of, like, in my 30s. I'm 32 and I've never experienced what it feels like to really, like, date in my 30s, because I've kind of just been comfortable with this person that I was dating for a certain period of time. So I'm loving my single season. So we're going to talk about, like, just the perks of it, the benefits, like, yeah, all that. So let me start by saying this. If you are someone that is single right now and you are feeling like you're lonely, or you're feeling like you need someone and that your life is not full and your life is not complete, I want you to take a step back, and I really want you to focus on, what can you do for yourself to make your life feel good as it is, right? What can you do in your life to make yourself feel whole? Because I say this all the time on this podcast, you come into this world by yourself. So if you are not feeling good with yourself, by yourself, you're not doing things to pour into yourself, you're not feeding your soul, you're not doing things to really take care and nurture yourself, you're not going to find the partner to do that for you. Like, I think the issue is that we assume that people are going to come into our lives and dramatically change our life circumstances or our level of happiness. And no, I'm not saying that, like, someone can't come in and add to your life, right? And to make you happy. And this was a whole conversation that I had with my girl Lauren. You guys can go back to that episode. I think it was episode like 43. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely link it in the show notes. But we talked a lot about dating, and that was what our main takeaway. Like, you have to be able to create a life for yourself without someone first, and you can't have high expectations that someone's going to come in and completely change your life. So things that you could do, taking more time just for yourself. Like, what are things that you like to do? Do you like to dance? Do you like to paint? Do you like music? Do you like instruments? Do you like, just, I don't know, watching TV? Do you like reading? Like, what are the hobbies? What are the things that light you up? What are the things that make you happy? What are the things that are going to allow you to feel like you have a full and complete life while you wait and while you manifest your dream partner? Like, you have to be whole on your own. And I think what we miss out on too is the fact that you're only going to attract what you are, right? You're only going to attract what is able to come through in your vibration. So if you're in a low vibration, if you're constantly complaining that you can't find love, that men suck, that there's no good men in this world, that all men are cheaters, that all good men are taken, right? Like you are literally affirming that and you're putting yourself in that vibration. So yeah, you aren't going to find people, right? Or you're going to attract the cheaters. You're going to attract the men who don't really have the same wants or desires or goals or standards as you, right? They're not going to value a relationship the same way you do. So first you have to fix your vibration, sis, okay? Or brother, whoever's listening to this, okay? Fix your freaking vibration. And how do we do that? We do more things that make us happy, right? You're in a high vibration, and you guys can go back to listen to episode where we talked about raising your vibration as well. You have to raise your vibration in order to manifest and match up to that dream partner that you want, okay? And I want to dive into why your single season is probably the best time in your life, okay? First of all, let's just say this, okay? Let's say that you're someone that's in your 20s or in your 30s or even in your freaking 40s, because your 40s is still young, okay? Your halfway point of your life is what, like 45, 50? Like most people desire to get to about 100 years old. Like I want to live into 100, right? And I think like we just have to start looking at life as not in a timeline, but like just this extension, right? Like you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time. And I think obviously society, right, has put so much pressure on us and allowed us to believe that we have to be married by 30. We need to start having kids by 30. If we're not having kids, you know, and we're past 35, like, oh, we're not going to have the eggs, and our risks of having, you know, harder pregnancy and our children having all these issues. And while these things could be scientifically true, right? Like we have to stop feeding into that bullshit because it is bullshit. There are lots of women who are having kids older than 35. My mom had me when she was like 38, I want to say 38, 37, and had a super healthy pregnancy, all that. Like I'm fine, you know, I think I'm fine. But you know, it's like, what are we talking about here? What are we saying? What are we telling women? Okay, why are we, and this is exactly why women are settling. This is why women end up marrying the first guy that shows them any type of attention or love, because they feel like, oh, you know what? I might as well just, you know, take this because I ain't gonna get nothing better. I'm not gonna find nothing better. You know, he cheats on me, but you know, he provides. Yeah, he treats me like shit and doesn't respect me, but he takes me out and he pours, you know, love into me with gifts, and he showers me with gifts, and he posts me on Instagram. It's like all of these things, you know, that are not really what you want, and you're settling because you're afraid of being lonely. Like, come on now. Like, embrace your single season. Stop thinking about it or looking at it in the way in which, like, you're thinking you're lonely. You're not lonely. You're not lonely. Think about it. Like, I'm sure you have friends. I'm sure you have family. I'm sure you have some type of community. I'm sure that you have, I don't know, a pet. You could be single and have children. So you're not lonely. You're never lonely. And you're never lonely when you have God. You know, like you're a child of God. And not to sit here and have like a whole sermon, but like, let's be real. Okay. You can literally quiet your mind. That's why I tell you guys, like, meditation is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing because you can literally go into meditation and connect with your higher self, and you'll have confirmation that whatever you want, the partner you want, the relationship you want, is on its way to you. If you really truly want that, you can manifest it and you can ask the universe for it and it will come. But the thing is, you got to be patient. A lot of people are not willing to be patient and wait for the partner that they truly want. Okay, because they're afraid of wasting time and being lonely and not having kids when they're told that they need to have kids. We also have this pressure from parents, right? From grandparents, from friends, from doctors. I had went to the gyno a couple months ago for like my yearly checkup, and she's like, okay, you know, you're 32. Like, are you thinking about having kids anytime soon? I'm like, girl, I don't even have a man. What are you talking about? Kids where? Like, huh? Okay. What's going on now? Okay? Like don't do that. Don't do that. So, it's just like we get this pressure from doctors and we get this pressure just from society. So, I want y'all to embrace and be comfortable with where you currently are. Embrace the fact that you can sleep in your bed and literally like sprawl out. You can have your arms out, you can have your legs out, you can have your space. You don't have to ask permission to go out with your friends if you're single. You don't have to check in all the time. You don't have to be texting someone, asking them where they are, concerned about where they are, them asking you where you are, having conflict with plans and friends and feeling bad that you can't show up for your friends because you're, trying to be with your man for the night, or you're trying to be with your girl for the night. So there's just a lot of perks. And I think that we don't look at it in that way enough. Also, like, let's be real. Relationships can be expensive, okay? Especially if you're a man. And if you are a man watching this, you should be taking out your wallet, okay? I'm sorry. Sprinkle sprinkle, I just have certain beliefs, and that could be a whole nother podcast episode where we talk about roles and expectations and all that. But me as a feminine woman, like, I'm not constantly taking out my wallet to pay for things, like, there's just certain expectations that and this isn't for everybody, okay? You could be a woman who's like, I love going 50-50. I love splitting things. I'll take care of my man. I don't care. I could be the breadwinner. For some people, that's just not going to work, okay? And I think especially where we are right now in this generation, in this dating world, hearing all these dating stories and all that, like, you could literally go on TikTok and hear a million dating stories if you wanted to. I think the issue in this day and age is that men don't want to be providers. Number one, okay, let's just be real. Men don't want to be providers, or they can't be providers because they're earning less than women. And therefore, that creates resentment, that creates jealousy, that creates competition, that creates them feeling emasculated, right? So there's a lot of different reasons why people are single, okay? And a lot of it, a lot of it is financial. A lot of it is that people just aren't getting their needs met, right? When they're dating, they're not finding the value in dating. I think specifically for women, my girl Jessica, shout out to Jessica Telly, and she was also on my podcast. She has her own podcast, A Stronger You. She posted something on her Instagram where she was talking about, it was like a repost of a different podcast, but basically the woman was saying that a lot of women just aren't finding the value of settling down or being with men or getting in relationships where their needs aren't being met, their emotional needs aren't being met, their financial needs aren't being met. It's like, all that you can offer is what? Sex? Because you could get sex anywhere. So, like, why am I going to stay in a relationship just for sex? Like, make it make sense. Come on now. Like, no. So, I'm sorry if you're someone that is listening to this and you're in a relationship that maybe you're just holding on to because, the sex is really good, or you're afraid that you're not going to find anything better, okay? And I think that's a lot of people's reasons for staying in things. They don't feel like they could find something better, but that's always going to trickle down to your level of confidence. That's always going to come back to your level of self-worth, okay? What is your worth? What are you worth in a relationship? What do you value? How valuable are you? How valuable are you? Can you get the things that you really desire? Are you willing to wait for it? Are you willing to wait it out for that person that can give you the things that you really want? And I think a lot of people can sit here and argue with me and say, oh, you're never going to find the perfect person. Your standards are too high. You're never going to find the person that can give you everything. And I'm not saying that. I don't think that there is one person that can give you everything. Honestly, I truly believe that we're meant to have multiple partners in a lifetime that can serve us in different ways. And this is not me saying that we need to be, polyamorous, or we need to be dating multiple people, or just breaking up with people and moving on to the next, or disposing of people, treating them as if they're disposable. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that it's okay to try different relationships. Like, why are we not like enjoying the dating process? Okay. And I know like I'm being hypocritical right now because I'm not in the dating world, but I'm gonna be there soon. Okay. I'm just waiting for the sun to come out. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit warmer. Okay. I'm in my hibernating season. I'm in my planning season. Okay. I'm in my working era. Okay. So once I'm ready to date, I'm going to be outside. And please believe, like, I'm not jumping into the first relationship, or I'm not jumping at the guy that I feel like, oh, this is the one. Like, and I've done that before. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to approach dating completely different in my 30s. I don't want to be like going on one date and like, okay, this is the one. Okay, great. Let's start playing house. Okay, cool. I'm cooking for you. Like, come sleep over tomorrow. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're moving slow. We're taking our time. We're evaluating the relationships. Like, we got time. We got time. And I want you to know that you also have time. Also know that when you are dating someone, right, whether that's for a couple of months, a couple of years, a couple of weeks, right? And you're really like dedicated to this person and you're dating them and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, know that it's okay to take a break. Like, you don't have to be that girl or that man that's like, okay, on to the next. Like, I think there was like this whole, I don't know if it's just a thing in your 20s where you're just like, okay, on to the next, whatever, on to the next. But I'm definitely not subscribing to that. Like, on to the next for me is like on to the next project, on to the next podcast episode, like on to the next meal, on to the next restaurant. Like, I'm not jumping from relationship to relationship. I think it is completely healthy and necessary to take breaks in between dating, in between relationships, whether you're divorced, whether you were in a relationship for 2 years or 2 months. Take a freaking break. Who are you? Get to know yourself. Recalibrate your freaking vibration. Like, get back to yourself. I think it's so easy to lose yourself sometimes when you're dating someone. You're constantly doing what they like. You're trying to impress them. You're trying to show up as your best self, what you think that they're gonna like, right? You're trying to mesh. You're trying to transform, right, into this person, this perfect person. And I think like we have to stop showing up not as our best. I'm not going to say that. I want you to show up as your best. Okay. I want you to show up as your best when you're dating and when you're in a relationship, but show up as your best, not just for that other person. Show up as your best for you. Who are you as your best self in a relationship? Right? Like, stop trying to impress everybody and stop trying to mold, right? Like, stop trying to be this person who could be molded and changing. Like, I used to hate when like I had certain friends. I'm no longer friends with these people because this was something that pissed me off. But it's like, you constantly are changing every time you date a different guy. What's going on? Like, who are you at the core? Like, do you even know who you are? You're a different person based on everybody that you date. That sounds crazy. That sounds really crazy. And that sounds like you need to be by yourself for a little bit. Take some time to get to know you. Okay. Go to therapy, journal, get a hobby, travel the world, do what you like. Okay. Like, if you're constantly just trying to make everybody else happy, but you're not really happy, you will never be happy in a relationship. You're going to be miserable because you're going to just take on this role of being a people pleaser. A people pleaser. Do you think people pleasers are truly happy? No, because they're always trying to please other people. How could you be happy when you're not even concerned about making yourself happy? Your main concern is making everyone else happy but yourself. Embrace your single season. It's a beautiful freaking thing. You have freedom. If you're someone who doesn't have kids, embrace that. These kids are expensive as hell. Okay, my dog is expensive as hell. He's not that expensive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. He was more expensive in the first year. Like, when he was a puppy that first year, ooh, all the things that we bought. All the things that we bought. Yeah. But now, he's low maintenance. He's a low maintenance dog. But kids, wow. I can't even process. Shout out to the parents who are watching this, because y'all are the real MVPs. Because wow, 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 wow. I can't even think about bringing a child into this world right now. But yeah, y'all, I just want you to embrace your single season. Like, this is your time to thrive, like really get to know yourself. Once you get with that person, once you find your partner, right? And if you're someone that really believes in forever and being with someone forever, like think about how much time you have with that person. Whether you meet that person at 35, whether you meet that person at 40, whether you meet that person at 50, right? Like you still have years to be with this person. So embrace the time that you have now. What are things that you want to do? What are things that, think about it. Like when you get in a relationship, I think a lot of people end up putting a hold on their life, right? There's things that they stop doing. There's things that they believe, right? It all goes into belief, right? There's things, oh, I can't do that. I'm a mom. Oh, I can't do that. I'm in a relationship. Oh, I can't do a solo trip. Like I can't leave my man. Excuse me? You can't do a solo trip. Why? You are solo. You are a person. You are an individual. Why can't you travel by yourself? That's one thing I will not stand for. Okay. I am not going to have someone tell me that I cannot travel by myself. You are bugging, sir. Like, absolutely not. So just think about the things that maybe when you get in a relationship, you're going to do less of, right? What are things that you probably won't do when you're in a relationship? Do them now. Take advantage. Do them now, right? There's a lot of people who take dance classes. I've seen this, I've been teaching dance for years. There's women who come and, they're in their dance season and they're showing up constantly and they're training and they're living their best life. And boom, they get in a relationship and they go MIA. They throw it all away. They're training, like they're not showing up for themselves. They put on weight. Anybody who's watching this, not to come for anybody, but it's like these are just the things that like sometimes come with being in a relationship, right? Like happy weight, relationship weight, being comfortable, being stagnant, being someone who doesn't see your friends anymore, right? Like being someone that just goes along with the flow. You're only doing things that your partner likes. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Be yourself. Be true to who you are. Okay? And if you are in your single season right now, stop being sad. Embrace it. This is a beautiful time in your life. Go do something that makes you freaking happy. Okay? Light yourself up. Light up your freaking soul. Guys, this was an amazing conversation. I'm so happy to be back on the pod. This was a very much needed conversation, especially around the time of Valentine's Day. If you guys are in Jersey, I'm hosting a Galentine's Day self-love brunch and workshop this Sunday, February 18th. It's going to be from 11 to 2 in Richfield, New Jersey. And I'm going to be having Lauren Walsh not back on the show. What am I saying? We actually might do a live pod. We might mic ourselves up because we're doing a panel discussion. And the panel discussion is going to be all about self-worth, self-love, knowing your worth, all that good stuff. So if you're in Jersey, pull up. Ticket sales do end this Friday. So grab your spot. There's only a couple of tickets left. And if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you rate and review the podcast. Definitely leave me 5 stars, okay? And if you guys are on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, drop a comment, let me know something that stuck with you in this conversation, or let me know something that makes you happy, that you love about yourself, that you enjoy doing in your single season. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and